Hello, Mrs. Sparks.
Hey, Addison, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. I didn't know which one you had a question on, so I just brought this one up.
I'm sorry, you just glitched out.
I didn't know which worksheet that you had questions on,
Oh, yes, ma'am.
so I just brought this one up. But if it's not this one, I can go to the other one.
Yes, ma'am, that's the one. Number 15 and 16.
Okay, yeah, those were a little more, challenging. But what you do on those is, oh wow, I didn't erase all my work from before. What you do on those is, what you'll notice is that where it says the f of x equals negative 13, and then it tells you to find x. So if you'll look to the left, you'll see that all of the functions are listed, and basically all that is they're naming each one of the equations so that each one kind of has its own specific name. So there's f of x, and there's g of x, and then there's h of x, so that you can use those three equations throughout the function f of x is negative 13. Well, knowing that they're telling you over here that f of x is equal to 8 minus 3, we have f of x equals negative 13, and it also tells us that f of x is equal to 8 minus 3x. So because of the rule of equality within a given problem, we could then say that negative 13 is equal to 8 minus 3x. So now we just have a standard algebra problem where we're going to subtract 8 from both sides because we're trying to isolate the variable. And that gives us negative 21 on this side and a negative 3x on this side. Divide both sides by 3, and then that's going to give us x equals 7. Does that make sense? Or did you follow that?
Yeah, somewhat. My Wi-Fi right now is very bad.
Okay.
So it is glitching a lot. So I kind of got like half of everything you just said. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Actually, Math Lab's kind of been like that all day. We've had a lot of feedback problems and a lot of technical problems. So it just must be Wi-Fi everywhere. But I'll kind of talk about it a little bit again with the problem, in the background. But what you're looking at is in the problem itself. Let me do it this way. In the problem itself, it's telling you that f of x equals negative 13. So I wrote negative 13 on the left side, but over here, it's told us that f of x equals 8 minus 3x. So I wrote that on the right side, because if f of x equals negative 13, but f of x also equals 8 minus 3x, then it would stand to reason that negative 13 would equal 8 minus 3x based on the principle of equality. So once I set one equal to the other, then I've got a standard algebra problem at that point. So I'm just going to solve because the instructions are to find x.
Okay, I think I understand this.
Yeah, it's just kind of a new way of thinking. It's all the different ways that we apply functions. So let's talk about number 16. Number 16 says that h of x equals 39. So I'm going to go ahead and write down 39. But over here in our key, if you will, h of x equals something else. And it says here that it equals negative 5 halves x minus 1.
Okay.
So now that's just a regular algebra problem where I want to isolate the variable, and I'm going to add 1 to both sides, because whatever you do to one side of an equation, you have to do to the other. And now I have negative 5 halves x. And I'm going to actually pull up a blank. PDF and do that, because I think that'll help to be able to see it better. Because this one I need to write out a little more for it to make sense, I think. Just so that you can see every piece, because this is the one where in order to clear a fraction, you need to multiply by the reciprocal. And I just want to make sure you see that. Is it okay if I put these away?
So for 16, since you have to divide negative 5 over 2,
you would multiply by the reciprocal.
Oh, yeah, I remember learning about that now.
Yeah, in order to clear that fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. So that's what I was going to try to move over to the other one and kind of show that, but I'm just going to move down here where you can see it a little more clearly. So I'm going to multiply by a negative 2/5 over here.
So then it would equal 16?
Yes! Good job, Addison. That's it exactly.
Thank you. Oh, that's okay, great. I'm so happy to know that now.
Yeah. Oops, I was writing down the wrong thing. That's it exactly. So did you have any trouble on the rest?
No, ma'am. Those are the only two that I had troubles with.
Oh, well, you go, girl. Good job.
The only thing I think I might have a problem is the negatives, like when to cancel it out, make it a positive, and then keep negative. But that's it.
Yeah, I know. That's all the little simple procedures sometimes can get a little tricky, especially when you have all the moving parts of working with functions and putting in the different values and all of that stuff. It can get a little tricky. I just try very, very hard to like when something's being squared, I try to. Caleb's about to be home if you want to take the puppy out. Thank you. I try real hard to go ahead and like write stuff down and almost put it in parentheses until like the very end. You can kind of see even over here on number 11 where I wrote -4 because I had 8 minus 12, which would be -4. And I kind of kept it in. I kept the -4 in the parentheses until I had it, all figured out. And then over here on number 12, I had a -2 in the problem, and then my answer was 15. And so I kind of left those isolated, and then I got a -30.
Okay. And the video helped a lot too. So.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear that. That's good. I'm really glad. I appreciate you watching it because I didn't make it mandatory, but I felt like yesterday in class there were enough questions that I felt like a video to support yesterday's classwork would be helpful. And we're actually going to do another worksheet of these. And since it's just you and I am really praying about canceling the quiz on Friday and just trying to master this concept tomorrow and then do what we were going to do tomorrow on Friday.
I did see that. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I did kind of put that toward the lesson plan, but I didn't know who saw it and who didn't. So, but you noticed it on the lesson plan. You're very observant, Addison. So, do you have any other questions, sweetie?
No, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's not a problem at all. Thanks for caring enough to come and email me with questions. And if you need anything else, just email me, okay?
Okay, that sounds great.
All right. You have a blessed afternoon.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.